The film starts in 2002, when a couple's car crashes. The accident happened because June, the wife, accused her husband, Felix, of having an affair with a woman she knew. Felix realized that his wife was facing mental health issues and firmly denied the accusations. However, in a state of deep depression, June recklessly grabbed the steering wheel of the car driven by Felix, disregarding the fact that their infant child was inside. The tragic accident resulted in Felix's death. 17 years later, at a luxurious beachfront hotel, three beautiful women are seen celebrating their friend Kathy's promotion. Kathy has recently been appointed headmistress of the school where she teaches. Her friends, Megan and Stacy, praise Kathy's performance as the best teacher, leading to her promotion. However, behind the happiness, Kathy feels sad and worried about her ongoing divorce proceedings. Shortly after, an AC repair service comes to their hotel room as the AC is malfunctioning. The handsome young man who comes to fix the AC is named Ian. After Ian leaves, Megan and Stacy start discussing Ian's mischievous thoughts. However, Kathy remains calm and sees Ian as a young, inexperienced guy, completely oblivious to the fact that this is their first encounter. Kathy then leaves the room and goes to the hotel pool to calm her mind. Ian is seen walking towards Kathy and politely asking if he can join her there. Shortly after, Ian enters the pool and invites Kathy to swim together. However, suddenly Ian pretends to drown and remains motionless at the bottom of the pool, causing Kathy to panic and jump in to save him. It turns out it was just Ian's trick to get Kathy's attention. After that, Ian starts showering Kathy with compliments as a thank you for her concern. Ian then offers Kathy to have a drink in his room. Under the influence of alcohol and a cozy atmosphere, Kathy starts getting carried away as Ian continues to flirt with her. Unbeknownst to Kathy, Ian secretly records them. The next morning, Kathy is surprised by the presence of roses and a love letter that traps her in Ian's temptation. Meanwhile, Ian is seen returning the hotel employee uniform to his friend, Clint, who is an AC technician. After checking out of the hotel, Kathy returns home and meets her daughter, Bree, who has just returned from her father's house, and Kathy's ex-husband, Ben. Meanwhile, Ian lives with his mother and stepfather, who is a drug dealer. Ian doesn't get along with his stepfather. In his room, a woman is seen who turns out to be his mother. The next morning, Kathy and her daughter, Bree, go to the university where Kathy works. There, Kathy sees Ian, who is actually a student at the university. Bree is a new student at the school because she used to attend school in her father's city. However, now Bree lives with her mother, so she decides to attend school where her mother works. Who would have thought that Ian is also a new student who transferred from a campus not far from there, and he's in the same major as Bree? After class, Bree is seen looking at paintings in the university gallery. There, Bree meets Leslie, Gina, and Steve. They invite Bree to join the cheerleading team on campus. However, due to Bree being introverted, she becomes nervous when responding to the offer, which makes Steve mock her way of speaking. Like a hero saving the beauty, Ian comes and stands up to Steve for his behavior towards Bree. However, when Kathy arrives, Ian avoids the meeting between the mother and daughter. Leslie then asks Kathy for permission to take Bree out and hang out at a cafe since Bree is new to the city. Upon arriving at the cafe, Leslie and Gina gossip about Ian. They are surprised by Ian's arrival, who approaches Bree. There, Bree tells them that her speaking anxiety doesn't go away, and it makes her feel like she's in hell at her old school because she was always teased by her friends. Ian, who is good with words, convinces Bree that no one will bother her at the campus. Shortly after, Leslie and Gina interrupt their conversation. Leslie invites Bree to a party at Gina's house. Ian then leaves the cafe. When they arrive home, Bree tells Kathy that she met an interesting man who caught her attention, without Kathy knowing that it's someone who has played with her. The next day, Kathy sees Ian being friendly with Bree, and it bothers her. Kathy then asks the vice principal about Ian. The teacher says that Ian was a troubled student at his previous school and asks Kathy to keep an eye on Bree so that she won't be disappointed later on. A few days later, Ian, who was walking with Bree, asked if he could visit Bree's house and meet her mother. Bree asked why Ian was being so nice to her, feeling unworthy of his attention. This handsome and brave guy told Bree not to underestimate herself because she is beautiful and valuable in Ian's eyes. When Bree started getting infatuated, Kathy arrived slightly annoyed, urging Bree to come home early. However, Bree innocently introduced Ian to Kathy. Ian greeted Kathy sincerely, but was met with an unhappy expression from Kathy. Kathy then explained that Ian wasn't good for Bree due to his messy past. But Bree, already smitten, didn't listen to her mother, leading to a small argument between them that made Ian smirk cunningly. It appeared that Ian's mother was sitting in a chair, and Ian handed her a newspaper with Kathy's photo in it. Ian said they would seek revenge and save Bree from Kathy. A flashback showed a baby inside a car when June had an accident. This raised the question, was the little baby Ian or Bree? Let's continue with the movie. The next day, Kathy's ex-husband, Ben, came to pick up Bree from her house. They had a conversation about the possibility of getting back together. As Bree and Ben left, Ian, who had been waiting, followed the car driven by Bree to a restaurant. There, Ben and Bree had a conversation like a father and his daughter, while Ian asked Bree to follow him. Like someone in love, Bree immediately went to meet Ian. Elsewhere, Kathy was discussing her problems with her friend, Megan. Kathy revealed that Ian was her student and that they had a one-night stand after the AC repair incident. Kathy felt anxious because Ian was now pursuing Bree, as if he already knew they were mother and daughter. Back at Bree's place, Ian and Bree were engrossed in conversation until Ben discovered that his daughter was close with a man. Ben then informed Kathy, making her even more restless. Kathy eventually thought of a plan to trap Ian. That night, she went to his school and used her authority as a teacher to access the students' lockers. There, Kathy hid something. The next morning, the school conducted a surprise inspection and checked all the students' lockers. Kathy, accompanied by school security, checked them one by one until she reached Ian's locker and found a dagger inside. This violated the campus rules against bringing sharp objects to school. Ian was called in and questioned about the dagger. However, Ian revealed everything, saying that he had orchestrated everything, including the passionate incident at the hotel, and Kathy had fallen into his trap. Ian also showed a secretly recorded video, threatening to release it if Kathy forced him to stay away from Bree. Ian demanded $50,000 as a ransom to prevent the video from spreading. But Kathy wasn't afraid of Ian's threats. She was more afraid of her daughter becoming the next victim and being pressured and blackmailed by Ian. Firmly, Kathy expelled Ian from the campus. Ian, who returned home angrily, became even angrier with his talkative stepfather. Then Ian stabbed his stepfather. Finally, we find out that Bree is Ian's half-sister from his father's affair with Kathy. Gina, who followed Ian out of the car, pushed her way in and declared her love for him. Ian, who had been irritated all this time, became even angrier when this girl who loved him followed him into the house, triggering his already boiling anger. Ian kicked Gina out and threatened her not to reveal anything she saw in that house. As Ian entered the house, it turned out his stepfather was still alive. Ian gently beat his stepfather with a stick until he stopped moving. A few days later, Ian took the risk and went to the campus to meet Bree, who was seen by Gina. However, Gina, looking disappointed, ignored it. Kathy, who found out that Bree was absent from class, tried to inquire with Bree's homeroom teacher. There, Gina told Kathy that Bree had gone with Ian. Upon hearing that, Kathy tried to contact Bree, but it was Ian who answered Bree's phone. Ian told Kathy to bring all the money in her account to ransom Bree within 2 hours. After the conversation with Kathy ended, Ian took Bree somewhere. Along the way, Ian explained that Bree's mother was a prostitute and a cheater. Bree felt confused because she had always believed her mother was perfect and would never cheat. However, Ian explained that they were half-siblings with the same father because Kathy had an affair with Ian's father, Felix. The affair led to Felix's death and had a negative impact on Ian's mother's health. Elsewhere, Kathy, accompanied by her friend Megan, tried to gather the money Kathy had saved as ransom for Bree. Megan refused Kathy's plan to hand over the money, as Megan believed involving the police would be a wiser step. However, Kathy rejected Megan's advice because she believed that involving the police would further endanger Bree. Back at Ian, who had arrived at a building, Bree asked again about the meaning behind all of Ian's actions. Bree admitted to being confused because she believed her father was Ben, not Felix. Ian confidently explained that Bree was his half-sister, based on the similarity in eye and hair color with Felix. Ian stated that all of this was his attempt to seek revenge against Kathy, whom he believed caused his father's death and worsened his mother's health 17 years ago. Ian asked Bree to understand his motivation, at least until Kathy handed over the ransom money. However, Bree didn't easily believe him and tried to grab the gun from Ian and kick him, which made Bree flee into the building. Despite Bree's efforts to escape, she couldn't avoid Ian's grip. Finally, Kathy arrived at the agreed-upon location, bringing money and jewelry for the ransom. In the chaotic situation caused by Ian's presence in Kathy and Bree's lives, Kathy decided to tell Bree the whole truth. Kathy explained about her affair with Felix, their relationship in the hotel, and her confession that Ian was Felix's child and Bree was Kathy's child with Felix. After much talking, Kathy revealed that Ian had been holding on to his pain for years, and the only way for Ian to cope with his suffering was by getting rid of Kathy with his own hands. However, suddenly, an unexpected event occurred. Bree interrupted, giving Kathy a chance to push Ian. The action caused Ian and Kathy to fall to the ground together. Thankfully, Kathy survived the incident and was immediately taken by paramedics to receive the necessary medical help. Meanwhile, Ian died at the scene due to his injuries. The film ends with Kathy celebrating a party as a sign of her happiness after finally reconciling with Ben. And that's the end of this film.